Do you feel that your circle times and story times are a little bit boring? Start using some innovative techniques to improve your presentation and storytelling skills. Idea number one is to start using felt boards. Felt boards are really great tools for improving your storytelling techniques. When children are looking at the felt board or any kind of medium where you present a story, they are more focused and you have more opportunities to extend the story, as opposed to when they are looking at something like this as a book. The great trick is to dress up. So, for example, once when I was reading Room on the Broom, I just put on a cloak and a hat and a nose, and this was very, very engaging. So, you know that you dress up for the book week, but try to do it for any storytelling session that you feel like and you have dress ups for. Also, invite children to dress up and participate through acting out. This really will take it to the next level. Consider trying oral storytelling. Oral storytelling is an old art. I call it babushka storytelling or grandmother storytelling. When I was a child, my grandma used to put me to sleep during the day, and I didn't really want to like that. She would say, "Would you like to listen to the story?" And I was a big, big fan of oral storytelling. I would say, "Of course I do." And she will start her story and tell me about some adventure or a story in style of Sherlock Holmes. She was an avid reader, so she would just retell the story for 5 years old child, and I will be listening. But as we talk and talk, my eyes will become a bit heavy, and then I fall asleep. And I would wake up, and then what happened next? And she's like, "I'll tell you tomorrow." So it would be really great to have a cliffhanger like they do in Netflix series and other wonderful movies where you have this hook and you have this cliffhanger at the end. So use that with your children. This way you can go through chapter books, you can tell them a lot of stories that you already know, and you don't need to buy new books. Dramatic play is another easy trick to improve your storytelling and circle time experience with children. It might start as a simple acting out. For example, everyone knows the story, I don't know, little Red Riding Hood, where they have at least the role of a grandma, the role of a girl, and they have a role of a wolf, and they have a role of saviors, yes, so who saved grandma and Red Riding Hood. You also can use stories like Three Little Pigs, they are old school favorites, or traditional stories that are well known in the community. So it could be Aboriginal stories as well, and Torres Strait Islander stories, as long as they are familiar to children. If you are stuck with reading books as well, you can always try stories that are musical compositions, such as the Carnival of Animals by Saint-Cyr, or Peter and the Wolf, a great storytelling example, or Mozart, Zauberflute opera, and any other appropriate musicals or operas for children. So there is a lot of research that I've done during my master's degree on how this improves child literacy skills, engagement with classical music, and can also add a lot more to your program. So be different, try to use different techniques, and create awesome storytelling sessions. To learn to read and write and create would be posters. So that's very unusual technique. And it invites you to write a story instead of reading a book, to write a story using texters like felt texters or Sharpies on a big poster paper. Why it is great? Because A, you write the story in front of children. You also can use stickers or images to add to this story. So why? Because children can see images, they can start guessing what it is. So this technique was used by Lewis Carroll, and when I was a child, I loved to decode his letter to Alice from his book Alice in Through the Looking Glass Mirror. not the Alice in Wonderland, but the second part. So this was really fantastic. So you can create stories like that based on the stories that children already know. For example, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, or Slinky Malinky, or whatever book they are familiar with, like Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And then you can add words and you can add symbols, so children will understand the symbols, and then they will start guessing the words. So this teaches them pre-reading skills, improves your storytelling techniques, and adds this variety and interest. The trick to improve your storytelling is to tell a story as you walk with children. In nature pedagogies, it's called walking with. And I love it because you can talk and walk, right? So our brain is created in a way that allows us to learn about something in a better way when we exercise. So children are active and their brain is active. So when you walk around and tell the story about what you see, it's also easier to create different scenarios and stories. Try walk and talk. Another great tool, and I also have a video on that, is called story stones or story dice. So story stones are fantastic because they're open-ended experiences. They allow us to create stories based on keywords, prompts, or just using imagination to extend on what you see on the stone, the image. It could be an image of a child, could be an image of a house, a forest, could be an image of an animal, of I don't know, some scissors or whatever would be on these stones. So these stones do help to create the story. They are available for to buy, of course, like story dice, for example. They are fantastic, only cost about $10-20. But you also can create your own story stones or story dice with children and start making those stories. You also can go on sites like Twinkle or Teachers Pay Teachers and look for storytelling props or cards. They also are fabulous because they help you to start the story, and then you go with children on adventure and create a fascinating story that is new and creative. Another way to improve your storytelling with children's circle time experience and your curriculum as a consequence is to use Vivian Gusel approach. So which means that you co-creating the story with children. Jerome Bruner, who I have a video about, also supported narrative or narrative inquiry in the classroom. So you basically are making up a story together. For example, this is my orange tree. And I found this, let's say, on the side of the road. It was drowning in water in a pot. So I picked it up. What happened next? So you can start creating the story. Or you can tell children a prompt, which will encourage a lot of storytelling and will make your process of co-creation story creative and engaging. For example, I was once walking. There is a French island not far from where I live, and I took a ferry, and once I step on land of this little island, I saw a poor baby koala. So this is your prop. Then children might be fascinated, so because it is a hook that captures their attention. And then you can start co-creating the story. I wonder what happened next. So they might give suggestions, then you can write the story on the board or just record it using video recorder or audio recorder, whatever device you have. So this way you co-create the story with children. Try to improve your circle times and storytelling in early childhood education and care. There are a few more traditional tricks that you can find on my channel, such as using felt boards, using puppets, all sorts of puppets, and using Steiner or Waldorf props, such as candles, scarves, and felt figurines. But it's all pretty much goes back to the same principle. Add variety, try different things, and remember that storytelling or narrative is the natural art for humans. We have been storytelling animals for many, many years before, and centuries and decades and thousands of years. And you can learn from oral storytelling cultures how to do it properly. Good luck, and post in the comments below which ones of these techniques or strategies were your favorite.